this one is recording. See, last night's didn't record, but this one is recording. So anybody that hear me in here, this one is recording. Apologies for last night's not recording. Let's see. There we go. Yours down some. Cut yours down some. Or put like the headphones or something in. Can everyone hear me in here?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all. Hello. I got it.
A second.
The postal service dropped it off this morning.
Oh, okay. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Oh, that's good. You got yours, Terry. I still haven't got mine.
Yeah, I just got mine. I got mine today.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Actually, they just sent me a text at 7 o'clock. They literally sent me a text.
I'm trying to get to. Okay, today we're gonna have a moderator, Krista. She's our fam. Krista is her name, but she's our fam. She's gonna help us to try to keep things organized and so we can get stuff going. But for the most part, that's Krista. Hi. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay. So today we're going to be going over two things, one of them being CMOS, since that's what this challenge is about. And the other thing is the mental. And so I'm going to start off with the CMOS, and Ash is going to take over and dive into the mental aspects of everything. Did everybody consume some CMOS today?
Yes.
One yes?
Yes.
I just received the package today, so.
Awesome.
Mine is soaking right now. Just got it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, so get ready to dive right in about CMOS. So you guys can be educated on what it is that you're consuming outside of like the misconceptions and the misinformation that's out there about CMOS. It really gets to me. Like, it gets to the pits of my soul when I see so much misinformation out there in regards to CMOS. And so I'm gonna start off with the different kinds of CMOS. There are different types of species, but there are three different kinds of CMOS, which is the wild-crafted, the farm-grown, and the pool-grown. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you all the types of CMOS. So this is the Yucca macatoni, which is what most of you received or is receiving in your packages. And this is like the main, like the most popular CMOS there is. This is also the CMOS that Dr. Sebi was actually talking about when he was referring to Chondrus crispus as CMOS. This is not Chondrus crispus, this is Yucca macatoni. And it's only called like Yucca macatoni or CMOS. This is another popular kind. This is Gracilaria. As you can see, it's a tad bit thicker. And whenever you soak it, it really, 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 really gets even thicker. Like it expands way more than the Yucca does. But yeah, it's the most popular one. And this is also the one that people use to grow their pool grown CMOS, but I'm gonna get into that when I break down the actual different types of CMOS. This is the Jamaican purple CMOS. And got some little bits of.
That's my baby.
And then the Chondrus. Can y'all see that? Oh, thank you. This is the Chondrus crispus. also known as Irish moss. This is Irish moss. We hear a lot of people saying sea moss, also known as Irish moss, but they're not all Irish moss. Only that last one I just showed you, Chondrus crispus, is the only Irish moss. Okay, so diving in. So you got the wildcrafted. The wildcrafted is like the sea moss that you should literally have your hands on, and that's the only one you should be consuming. It's naturally wildcrafted from the oceans, and the way that it receives its trace minerals, macro elements, just minerals in general, is from the ocean itself. With the flow of the ocean moving back and forth, the actual sea moss itself is like absorbing all the minerals from the rocks and all the other ocean elements. Farm grown just became popular in 2020, last year. I can't believe it was last year. 3 days ago, it was last year. The farm grown sea moss is what farmers started implementing or using when the demand started getting really high and they couldn't keep up with it. And what they did was they'll take some sea moss and they'll put it on ropes, and those ropes will kind of just take over and make harvesting easier. So instead of them having to dive and go deep for the actual sea moss, they just pull it off the ropes and keep going. What keeps it multiplying is growing is like, it's simply when one sea moss, like a piece of the strand, latches onto another one, they multiply. So that's how it keeps going. This is exactly why the Gracilaria is normally used for the pool grown, because it's easily accessible and it's literally easier to duplicate, and you get so much more of it. The pool grown is heavily saturated in the market because it became so popular that people out there decided, well, since everybody wanted, let's create our own. This is literally grown in pools with salt, chemicals, and other things. There's no rocks, there's no nothing. It's completely mineral deficient, and the chemicals can cause an adverse effect when using it. She used some of the pool grown sea moss one time, like on her face, and she actually experienced a chemical burn on her face. So that's how serious it is. And if she experienced that on her face, now just imagine what it's doing to your body when you actually consume that pool grown sea moss. And so if any of you go, like you purchase your sea moss like in gel form already from a local market, I'd ask them what type of sea moss they use, or even get them to show you exactly what it is that they're using to make that gel, because chances are, and I'm almost 99.9% sure that they're using a pool grown. Some of them do use like the Yucca Macatni, but chances are they are using the pool grown sea moss for those gels that you're getting in your local markets. And even if it's not gel and they're selling sea moss, probably pool grown. I already broke down the different, you know, the Yucca, the Gracie, the purple Jamaican, and the Chondrus. But to separate the two, because we get this question asked a lot, what's the difference between these sea mosses? And there are really only two main differences. The Yucca and the Gracie are warm water mosses. They're grown in warmer waters where the water is normally cleaner, clearer, just beautiful salt water. A lot of people think when you see salt on your sea moss, oh, it must not be real. But when you go to the beach, the water is salty. There is salt in the ocean. No matter what ocean it is, it's going to be salt. So when you see salt particles on your sea moss, this is just a buildup of natural salt and trace minerals on that sea moss. And there is a difference between that salt and table salt that they use in a pool grown. So just so y'all know, the salt that's typically on this is like more sparkly, kind of has like a little twinkle.
Yeah, the way it crystallizes is completely different.
Crystallized, that's a good word. Definitely a good word. And the Chondrus crispus, this one comes from colder waters. It's not dirty water, but it's not as clean as the warmer waters. So if any of you have ever received the Chondrus from us, you probably experienced krill, little shells, and other stuff in it, because the water that it comes out of has more of those things in that water. So that's why we advise to like really clean your sea moss like 2 or 3 times, even in between soaking. Just make sure you clean it really good, especially that Chondrus, because you don't want to consume some of that krill or some of the shells that's in it. Now, the benefits of sea moss. The benefits of sea moss, I know y'all have probably heard about like the whole 92 minerals and all of that extra yada yada, because that's what Sebi said. But being completely honest with y'all, because we've been transparent with y'all from the jump, being completely transparent with y'all, the only reason why people are really gravitating to that sea moss contains 92 minerals out of the 102 minerals is because Savy said it. There is literally no scientific evidence backing that claim. Me personally,
Well, we can't find it.
exactly. I've been studying on it for almost 2.5, going on 3 years. I've asked other herbalists. I got books upstairs, like thick books with actual sea plants, sea moss, the breakdown of everything, the botanical name, minerals, vitamins, all of that. And I cannot find a single source on a government website or anything that states all 92 minerals. And so until I figure out what those 92 minerals are, you won't hear us ever say that sea moss contains 92 minerals because we cannot find proof of that.
And that's why it's a lesson that we honestly had to learn ourselves, because we, like a lot of other people, held on to these herbalists that we cherish. So the things that they taught, they became so much of our belief in what we, what we think about the things that we consume. But like we said, in regards to how much sea moss you should be consuming, and Savy having a different approach than we practice, we have literally had to learn that these people are human and people have the potential to be wrong. And so we've honestly had to go through the process of correcting ourselves and actually putting in the research, not just going off of somebody else's work, to make sure that we are properly educating people and providing just that quality information that we need to make sure that we're staying healthy.
And aside from, I know I mentioned the differences and I named one of the differences. The second difference was the Chondrus crispus, and that has a variety of species. So not all Chondrus crispus looks like this little purple one that I just showed you. There are, like, in the books and stuff that I'm studying, there are, do we got some?
Yep, I saved every little piece.
They all look completely different. But what makes the main difference between the Chondrus and our Euchyma is the purple, and anything purple, even our purple Jamaican sea moss, contains a substance called anthocyanins. And those anthocyanins have been studied and reported as having the capacity to lower blood pressure, improve visual activity, reduce cancer cell proliferation, inhibit tumor formation, prevent diabetes, and so much more. This is why we say the purple is just simply more medicinal than the others. And that pigment, that anthocyanins, that's in blueberries, eggplant. It's literally what gives any fruit that dark purple color, that blue, that darkish purple blue color. That's Peruvian. Your hand is in the way. Turn it around. The Peruvian Chondrus crispus literally comes straight from Peru. That's really hard to come by. That's why we barely had it in stock ourselves. But those are really the main differences between the different sea mosses. The Gracia and the Euchyma, they bear the same vitamins, minerals, all of that stuff. But the Chondrus is more medicinal. Any purple sea moss is definitely more medicinal than the golden ones. Let me see. Okay, so like I was saying, sorry about that, I'm going over my little notes so I can keep everything in order. Back on the benefits, like I said, we don't mention those 92 minerals. Given any sea moss, including the pool grown, it's inevitable that they're gonna come with vitamins. Like all sea moss is gonna come with vitamins because that's just naturally in the actual seaweed. Like an orange contains vitamin C. No matter what type of orange you get, whether it's Valencia, Navel, whatever orange it is, it literally has vitamin C. Same thing with the sea moss. The only difference is not all of them contain the same amount of minerals. And so, like I said, they all contain vitamins, but they all don't contain minerals. Like the pool grown sea moss is definitely mineral deficient and should not be in the human body. One of the things that I love about sea moss and the benefits of it that a lot of people don't talk about because they're so stuck on the 92 minerals is that it expels mucus from the body. This is very, very important, but I'm getting to that in a little bit. It treats some thyroid disorders, treats intestinal disorders, treats lung disease, pneumonia, flu, tumors, bronchitis, which is trouble clearing mucus out of the lungs, the lung disease, cystic fibrosis, that's mucus, that's a buildup of mucus. And this is why I like sea moss, because it literally expels the mucus out of the body, the bad mucus. There is good mucus in the body and there is bad mucus in the body. The good mucus is a substance that is excreted from multiple areas of the body, such as the mouth, the throat, the lungs, the stomach, the intestines. And that mucus contains a substance called mucin. The mucin works as a lubricant or a selective barrier, and that covers the surface of our epithelial cells. I almost said it wrong. Epithelial cells, because we have different types of cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, da, 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 da. But I'm sticking specifically to the epithelial cells because they're very important, and people don't really talk about it as much. Those cells line the surfaces of the body, such as the skin, the blood vessels, the urinary tract, and other organs. They basically serve as a barrier between the inside and the outside of the body. When the mucin structure and production is normal, the mucus protects the body. The good mucus protects the body. But when the mucin structure and production is abnormal, that mucus begins to cause disease. That mucus is bad mucus. And that's why we say, when you're consuming CMOS and you're not following the right diet, you're basically working against it, because while it's expelling mucus, you're consuming things that produce more mucus in the body. And then ultimately it's just a clash. Now there's just too much mucus in the body, and the CMOS really isn't doing what it should be doing. And so there's a lot of people out there taking CMOS and they're thinking, oh yeah, it makes me feel this way. You might get, some of the benefits of it. You may get the loss of appetite, or the boosting of your metabolism, energy and all of that, but you're not really allowing the CMOS to do what it's supposed to do. I had something that I was gonna say, but in a disease state, those same epithelial cells, they begin to stick together and form biofilm. Once that biofilm is formed, that's where weight gain and a lot of other diseases and issues come from, because now everything, all the toxins, parasites, and everything like that is now being formed inside of the biofilm. And this biofilm is so thick, it's hard to penetrate. So everything in it is multiplying and just getting worse, literally getting worse. And so that's why CMOS, expelling mucus, to me is one of my favorite benefits of it, because too much mucus in the body causes disease. And like Sebi used to say, mucus is the root cause of almost all diseases. And so when you have something that literally expels the bad mucus out of the body, you basically have a winner. Not to mention you get all the minerals, the iron, the zinc, the selenium, the potassium, the copper, the iodine, which is why it's great for people with thyroid diseases, hypothyroidism, not hyper, but hypothyroidism. And a lot more. So, and everything that I'm saying is actually on our website and in a blog post. There's like three different articles on CMOS if you actually want to get more information on it. But that's really the bulk of like breaking down CMOS and why we decided to do the challenge and actually get you to try to implement it into your diets every single day, because it's just amazing. Like this, despite the minerals and stuff like that, it's still doing so much within the body that multivitamins and stuff like that really won't and can't do. Excuse me. So yeah, in summary about CMOS, that's literally it. And we try to advise you to kind of, in so many words, treat your body right, switch up your diet. If you're still putting like dairy in your body and then you consume CMOS, that CMOS really can't go to work for you like it's supposed to do. You're telling the CMOS to attack and get this mucus out of the body while you're still putting food in your body that's producing even more mucus. So it's like, at that point, it's a standstill and there's really no activity going on. It's congestion and all types of stuff. So yeah, just kind of be mindful, those of you that are consuming the CMOS and putting it in your smoothies, trying to make sure if you're making your smoothies, you're using either the milk in the recipe, and we still will be sending the video on how to make milk, but try to make it non-dairy milk, cheese, anything, like literally anything. And there's so much mucus causing, mucus forming foods just, you got to really be mindful of that, because at the end of the day, we guys want you to actually receive the benefits of the sea moss and not just be consuming it just because you think you're getting 92 minerals when you're really not. And I'm going to stand firm on that until I run across an article, another herbalist or doctor or some type of valid information that'll say these are the 92 minerals all broken down, and then I will stand corrected. I have no problem with admitting where I'm wrong. But right now, everybody that's saying that it's 92 minerals in it, tell them to prove it. If they prove it to you, you come tell me, and then there we have it. But until then, it does not, to me, does not have 92 minerals. I cannot find it nowhere. So, how do I take the Bladder-X since I have hypothyroidism? The Bladder-X capsules, you take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
You can also put Bladder-X in a tea. You can actually get the Bladder-X, the actual dry Bladder-X itself, and put it in a tea, and you can consume that as well. And again, certain sometimes iodine, even for hypothyroidism, can cause adverse effects. So that's a thing. But is that it?
Yeah, I was done with my sea moss. You can take over with the mental stuff.
I'm so excited for this point of co-creation.
You silly.
Y'all don't know where that come from. That come from Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks, ABRAHAMHICKS. If you want to change your mind about anything in regards to what the mind can do and being close and or one with what she calls source and or spirit, check out. But let's get to this. So you guys were tasked with a challenge today in regards to the mental aspect of it. And I hope that you all did it. If not, it's cool. Save it for another day. But essentially, you were to send us a video of you practically, just introducing who you are and speaking about yourself in the same light that we spoke about ourselves last night. And which is nothing more than, just a realistic and positive way for those that may not have been on here yesterday. But in addition to that, we added affirmations. One of them being that, through the Holy Spirit, I'm not dependent on my own abilities. My strength comes from God, the Alpha and Omega. And I thought that was a really, really good affirmation, because a lot of us have these beliefs that shape our attitude that we don't necessarily act upon. And that's what causes the disharmony between ourselves that encourages that self-sabotaging behavior. So for those of you that don't know just how powerful your attitude meaning how you actually look at life, how you define the world around you, I wanted to break it down a little bit, hopefully to encourage you guys to do a bit better with how you think and what you say. So again, we discovered yesterday, y'all can't see the board, but I'm gonna be reading from the board. The first thing is, what are attitudes? Attitudes are often learned opinions. We have a tendency to think about certain things in the same ways that we've seen the society that, or the environment that we try to fit in within, and or our peers, our parents and things like that. Sometimes these opinions are not accurate. Thus, we go throughout life with these inaccurate opinions and or thoughts that actually shape and define our behavior and our attitude in a negative way. Your attitude predicts your behavior. Your attitude predicts your behavior. I'm gonna just say it again, just in case somebody in the back and they can't hear. Your attitude predicts your behavior. If you have a negative attitude towards the transitions that you're trying to make within your life, you will have a very difficult time achieving them. And chances are you will not achieve them because of how you actually perceive them. So changing how we see and how we perceive our goals and things of that nature is an important part, is an important aspect in regards to your healing, and not just healing, but you becoming and doing the things that you want to do. And we're tackling veganism and changing your diet and enhancing your life in general here. If you have a negative attitude towards losing meat or living without meat, you will find it difficult to give up meat. And so having and changing your mind into understanding, because it's not just a thought, but it's a fact, you do not need meat to survive, is an important aspect of equipping yourself with the tools and a mindset necessary in order for you to become who you want to be. And this is what this is all about, us being on our way to becoming who we want to be. In order for us to be on that way, we have to change our attitude. We have to change our mind in regards to what we're doing. That's where those self-sabotaging behaviors come from. if you have a tendency, let's just say you want to go and work out, you have a goal to go and work out, but you only associate or feel the thoughts of pain, exhaustion, and things of that nature when you think of working out, your attitude is actually stopping you from wanting to go and do what you need to do. So if you actually manifested or meditated on the positive aspects of working out, me personally, is getting thick. I'm trying to get thicker than a Snicker. So when I think about working out, instead of thinking about how much pain I'm about to be in, how much it's going to hurt, how early I got to wake up and all of that stuff, I think about my end goals and how this is a tool that I'm going to be utilizing in order to get me there. And changing that mentality, changing my mentality about it, makes the thought of waking up and getting to work or getting to work out a lot easier, and it feels better to handle. Just to break down what an attitude is, an attitude is an enduring organization of beliefs, feelings, and behavior tendencies towards socially significant objects, group events, or even symbols. And we expect for our behavior to be in direct correlation with our attitude. If you are Christian and you actually believe in, you know what I'm saying, the word of God, or going to what am I trying to say? If you believe in Christian principles, you're going to be associated and or tied to the church. We can expect that a Christian is going to go to church simply and solely because of the strong belief formed within the acceptance of that mentality. If a person is afraid of spiders, if you say, I am scared of spiders, I can expect your behavior to reflect that. So when you see a spider, you jump, you shake, you scream, because your actions and your behavior is a reflection of your attitude and how you perceive whatever it is that you're going through. Our attitude is sometimes developed out of the need to fit into society, as well as to protect our self-image and ego. And I wanted to put that down because we have a lot of us that are trying to grow in the wrong environments, and we don't want to address that. People will get on here all day, every day, and say, I don't have no support, but you're not creating a supportive environment. You will get on here and say, hey, I don't have X, Y, and Z, but we're not doing what we need to do in order to ensure that we're creating these environments for ourselves so that we can succeed. Understanding that some of our attitude is actually created out of the need to defend ourselves and or protect our self-image. And this is where a lot of people go, like they go in the wrong direction, and it negatively impacts them. You tried a vegan diet and it didn't work the first time. Maybe you failed because of consistency. Because you failed out of consistency, you had a hard time with accepting the fact that you were inconsistent. Because you had a hard time accepting the fact that you were inconsistent, you actually changed your mind about what a vegan diet is. So instead of a person coming out here speaking facts about what the actual diet can do for someone's health, you're actually talking, you're down talking it and you're downplaying it, not because it's actually inaccurate, but because you feel some type of way and you created that mentality and that attitude towards this diet as a result or as a means to protect your ego, to protect your self-image. We have to become really honest with ourselves, excruciatingly honest with ourselves, and not necessarily honest with ourselves to become judgers of ourselves, but observers of ourselves, to quiet that critical mind, to give us a chance to actually give something else that we struggled with a chance, another attempt, so that we can actually succeed at what we're trying to succeed at. When you actually are in a society, and we see this a lot with military, and I've actually had the luxury of speaking with someone about this. My family has I have people in my family that are police officers, federal agents, went to the military and things of that nature. And one of my mentors when I was younger, he just came back, but he was not just a Marine, but he actually had like little secret missions and things like that he talked to me about. And one of the things that he discussed was the gross things that they did within war, the raping of women, the killing of children, the disruption of peace whenever they would break into homes and, and search for whoever they were looking for. When you speak to him, you do not think that he would have partook in anything of that nature. And I was completely shocked when that came out of his mouth. But we have to understand that our environment and us understanding that we have to survive in some of these environments is what creates our attitude. So he created an attitude of being stern, unbothered, and unmoved by these horrendous things, because he understood that he had to survive within the environment that he was in. Doesn't make it right, but that's exactly what happened. I'll tell you a personal story. When I grew, I was sexually abused when I was younger. And I had a very hard time dealing with that in school. Kids can be mean. And so out of the difficulty that I experienced in school, I created this almost like this personality that was super strong. I became extremely defensive. Y'all wouldn't believe it, but I was a fighter. I got to a point to where I was willing to get out there and we're gonna square up, regardless of who you are, how much bigger, smaller, whatever the case may be, because I knew that I needed to protect myself. That mentality, I have to understand that is, oh, it's good, the tea. That mentality had developed out of my need to understand that I have to make it. And me getting my feelings hurt all day, every day, is not going to help me. And so I developed this mentality that I had to shed as an adult out of my need, my desperate need, and out of my youth, in hopes to really survive and to succeed. And that my realization of how wrong that mentality was to create did not change until I changed my environment and understood that that mentality no longer served me. So a lot of us really need to do some mental digging, some spiritual digging, and start creating the environments within and externally that would help us and promote us to grow. And I wanted to talk to you guys about what time is it? I wanted to talk to you guys about quantum and the power of your words. And again, I will not say any names in regards to any of the conversations that I've had with any of our customers, but I'm pulling from some of these personal things because I know y'all are on here, and I'm sure that all of us can relate. When you speak out of lack, you are only meditating on that point of lack. And if you understand anything about energy, what you put your energy into manifests. And if manifest is triggering anybody or anyone doesn't understand it, manifest simply means grow. So what you put your attention into is what develops. If you put more attention into your lack than what you actually have, you will develop more of a lack than what you actually have and or want. So where we put our thoughts, how we think, and the words that we utilize have the ability to really shape our lives. And let me break this down like on a little nerdy level. Words shape and define our life because they shape our beliefs. There is nothing that anyone on this planet can express without words. Even when in languages, or even when if you're sign languages and or symbols, those mean things, and those meanings are words. Your words is how you shape your attitude. Your thoughts and emotions are expressed through words. So if you are not mindful of your words, you have the ability to really mess yourself up mentally. And this is what a lot of us are struggling from. Quantum physics. And let me break down just the power of words and why there is power within words. Everything in energy is is in different vibrational states. That's it. This is in a different vibrational state than we are. The words that I'm speaking, you cannot see, but their vibrations, sound, energy, vibrations, everything is just energy in a different vibrational state. So when we understand that the mind creates our reality through these words, implementing these vibrational states, you then begin to understand why it's so important for you to watch what you say, especially about yourself. If you feel as if that you are not competent, you cannot gain competence. We have to understand that if you say that you are a bad person, you then begin to feel that. And then honestly, even as a child, after that experience for me, I felt like I needed to become bad in a sense, because being sweet wasn't getting it. And so when I would speak, and I would, and I even got to a point where I told my stepfather, and in short, my stepfather didn't believe me when I said that I was sexually abused. And I had began to get treated as if I wasn't a victim within the situation. And that again created the kind of mentality to where I just didn't care. I was tired of trying to be a good person. And because I got tired of trying to be a good person, I became a bad child. I don't fault myself because I'm a child. I was a child. And that's something that a lot of people shouldn't have gone through anyway. but that is a sure example of how our mentality forever shapes our reality, and then how our words actually create and manifest our reality. Everything in this world is created 2 times. First within thought, then externally. Your brain, and this is where quantum physics has a play. Your brain has the ability to actually manifest within your reality. As a matter of fact, whatever, you can't manifest anything within your reality if it doesn't start here first. And so understanding that, hold on, come on, mama, I know, I say hey to Coco. Get it. Understanding that your brain is what's actually creating your reality should be like the main thing that encourages you to actually change the way that you think and see and feel about yourself. We are 70% water, 70% water. And you guys actually go and look this up after we're done with this when you have time. There was an actual experiment done by Asiatic scientists or doctors on water. The water was spoken to, some positively, some negatively. The water that was spoken to negatively actually experienced a physical change. The crystallization within the water actually broke down and changed due to how it was actually spoken to. If you are 70% water and everything from your internal thoughts, the negative self-talk and what you think and how you express yourself is negative, what do you think you're doing to your body? A lot of us are breaking our own selves down from a mental and a spiritual level, and we don't even, it's almost as if we're not caring about it. And then we come and we say, well, how can I get better here? And we don't understand why the internal state matters first, or should come first, or has to come first. Because if you don't change your mind first by giving yourself unlearning and relearning, 1, giving and equipping yourself with the right knowledge, 2, changing your environment, 3, and actually making a decision. I have seen some of the most powerful people in some weakened states because they don't understand the importance of a decision. Once you decide, the universe has to bend, period. If you say that you are hungry and you have decided to eat, you go and you eat. And if you do not have the means to eat, you create the means to eat so that you can eat. That all came from a decision. A decision. Everything, our lives is nothing more than a combination of everything that we've ever decided within this life. And so your decisions, your mind has the ability to really throw your physical reality off, because your mind has the ability to create your physical reality. If I think that, and like, I know a lot of y'all may be married and stuff like that. So peep this. This is something that we've experienced too. We come from 2 completely different backgrounds. There are certain things that she associates with something negative, and there are certain things that I associate with something positive that we don't necessarily agree on. So I could be coming from a completely positive intentions and positive state, and it's perceived as something negative because of how we view define these things in our life. So changing your perception, and I know that we not the only ones arguing because her mama taught you something, and then, or your mama taught you something and his mama taught you something different. I know we're not the only ones. And so that within itself is a key indicator that we really have to start targeting and tackling our mind. If the body is made out of 70% water, and we just confirmed that words actually carry energy, enough energy to be able to manipulate water in the way that water actually forms within its vibrational state, how it crystallizes. What makes you think that you can talk to yourself the way that you are, think about yourself the way that you are, say the things that you're doing, treat other people the way that you are, and still be okay? That's it.
And the reason why we're tackling the mind so much, because to be completely honest, you cannot heal the body without healing the mind. Like, they go hand in hand, mind, body, soul. And with me, like Ash was just saying, I used to think of so many things as negative. I used to perceive everything as negative. Certain words would make me mad because I remember one time I got called ignorant and I got upset at that. But then when I found out like the real definition of the word ignorant, I felt stupid that I even got mad. because growing up, the word ignorant was used in a negative
sense.
Yeah, in a negative sense. So as growing up, if I was called ignorant, they was either trying to call me stupid,
yeah.
bad, just everything negative. It wasn't until I became adult until I realized ignorance is simply not knowing. That's it.
Y'all should have been in the car when we had this argument.
And so even with that, even with learning how to shake certain things in the way that I thought and felt about things, it wasn't until I changed my diet until it is when like the mental clarity and everything started coming. And it's simply because whenever you're eating, and let's take it to like a non-vegan, whenever you're eating, say you're eating bacon for breakfast, you just consumed the inside of a pig. That pig went through so many things before it got butchered and then processed and then sliced and packaged into bacon and then pushed into stores. With that, you have now put in your body the emotions, the stress, and everything negative that pig went through. You are putting that into your body. You are literally absorbing everything from the emotions and even the toxins and chemicals, whatever was in that pig and whatever that pig went through mentally and physically.
You are eating and
you're literally eating and consuming it.
And wondering why you got anxiety.
Wondering why people are so depressed, and people say depression is a disease. Y'all, you should feel sorry for people that's battling depression, and you should do. And it's just like, ultimately, if you pay attention and be mindful of what you're putting into your body, everything else will follow suit. You will have no reason.
Even your mind. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's even your mind. The music that you listen to, everything is vibrational. Everything within this world is vibrational. If you think that you are not affected by the music that you listen to, go and actually research different studies done on music. There's a scientist that put different cells on an actual plate, and he did nothing more than apply different hertz of different vibrations to those cells. And they all started doing like this, like they were moving in different ways. The music, the vibration and the frequency within the music. And I hope y'all know that a lot of the music today has changed. The sound that people are listening to music on today is not natural. The frequency is not natural. And you wonder why some of our babies are coming up. I'm not gonna lie, I looked at a child one time and was like, what happened? Like, what do you have to go through to come to have this kind of mentality? You eating Tide Pods, baby? You feel like it's cool to go and lick ice cream and put it back in the frozen section amidst the oncoming of a pandemic. Are we really thinking about all of this? These vibrations, these frequencies affect your being in different states. So if you have a tendency to actually listen to violent music more than you actually have a tendency to listen to calming, natural music, that says a lot about your internal state. People that listen to, what's that, screamo?
Heavy
metal, listen to what actually is going on. Music creates harmonious flows and connection within sounds and vibration. It's a harmonious thing, it's harmony. That heavy metal is where sound clashes. There is no harmony in the sound. And that's what actually creates the environment for that music. That's why I had a friend that came back with 2 black eyes because he went to a heavy metal concert. And it's like, y'all fight each other. The music make you want to fight. Like y'all willingly get into a circle of people that throw elbows, punch, and all of that stuff. And it's seen as fun. What you listen to, what you eat, your environment, how you think, these are all reflections of our being. So if you have anything that's out of harmony with the individual or the being that you are trying to become, it is important that you remove it. The difficulty in removing those things come from your personality. Your soul or your spirit and your personality are 2 different things. Our personalities are the mentalities, the attitudes, and things that we create and we express within the world. Your soul or your spirit is not of that. And so when you're experiencing disharmony between you and yourself, meaning that you have an idea of who you want to be, and this is the person that you are, and you having a hard time with letting go of the things that's holding you to where you are and stopping you from where you're wanting to be, that comes from your personality. Your soul is not addicted to chicken. Your soul, your spirit is not addicted to soda. The spirit does not drink, and it's not made, like it's not a carnal thing. It does not touch, taste, feel, or anything of that nature. So these things can't be coming from actually the true core and nature of us. They are coming from the attitudes, the opinions, and the things, the different thoughts and things of that nature that shape our personality. So be mindful of what's you and what's not you. And that's where that serious honesty needs to come into. You feeling as if you are too weak to make a situation in or to make a decision that you need to make is not you, because the you is strengthened, like I said in that affirmation, through God.
Free your mind.
Exactly.
Alicia said it.
You are not that actual struggling, the suffering, all of that has nothing to do with your spirit. And a part of it teaches it biblically and across the range in a multitude of cultures as well. And in the Bible, it teaches that the further that you get away from God, the more disharmony that you actually experience. A naturalist or a spiritualist would actually transform that into the same thing, essentially, but in different words. The further that you get away from the natural laws that govern you, whether that be from God or whatever you deem it to be, the more disharmony that you experience. And so if you understand that you have these morals, a lot of us are Christian, but we're not really Christian. Like we say we're Christian, but we don't live that Christian life. We say that we're Muslim, but we don't live that Muslim life. We say that we love ourselves, but the love that we're claiming that we have for ourselves is not seen in or implemented within our lives. So we are not being who we want to be. And that within itself can create those self-sabotaging behaviors. You understand that you have a consistency or a tendency not to be consistent. You have an understanding that you know how difficult, like you know how much weight you can lift. So when you come to this 50-pound dumbbell and you say, yo, I can't lift this, in order for your mind to actually keep you in a comfortable state, and a comfortable state is not necessarily where you are happy at, it is your norm. A lot of us are stuck in being in a state to where we are completely negative and or shaped and influenced by negative things, whether we realize that they're negative or not. And so when you are, what am I trying to say? Because it's so much on my mind. I'm trying to stay focused. But when you find yourself not being able to be who you want to be because you are sabotaging yourself, you are more comfortable, or your brain is trying to keep you more comfortable than it is towards growth. A lot of us, and it's the same thing in regards to that self-image, the feelings, and ego. When we're going to protect ourselves, got it. Thank you. When we're going to protect ourselves and we want to protect our image, we want to stop ourselves from doing things that would reveal that we are inconsistent or anything that we do not want to be. And so instead of actually making a transition to becoming who we want to be, our mind actually convinces us to be in this self-sabotaging state. So no, you're not going to eat vegan today. You're going to start tomorrow, and tomorrow turns into the next day, and the next day may turn into the next year, because in your mind, you're just trying to be comfortable. We don't want to do things that we fail at. We don't want to do things that actually challenge us because we are used to being comfortable. And it's getting used to being uncomfortable. It's getting used to being in a constant state of change that's going to actually help us enhance or help us elevate our lives. And this is reflective even within history. Back in the day, the people that survived the most were nomadic. These were the people that realized, I set my home up here. There's a lot of water right there. It'll kind of look like a tsunami. Let me move around. And we all got that one granny. It don't matter what's going on. World War 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 can be happening in her hood. And my granny gonna be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stay. Hurricanes coming. And they can tell you, ma'am, you only on the first floor. It's gonna get to the second floor. I want my home. Boy, that bothers me. But we have some people like that because we are so afraid of being uncomfortable. So I want y'all to understand that, and I hope that no one takes this as offensive or trying to be too harsh, but it's something that we all need to hear, even myself on a day-to-day basis. Saying that you can't literally creates the environment for you to not be able to do something. Saying that something is difficult when it's really not difficult really makes it difficult for you to do. how we define the words that we use are important. And that's why we've been heavy in regards to this transformative aspect. You cannot grow to love yourself more if you don't see that you are worthy of love, period.
Woo,
You goofy.
girl, yes. All right, so we got that out the way. We will now.
Can you repeat that?
Which part, Mama?
The last little part that you just said.
We can't grow to love ourselves. We can't even grow to become the people that we want to be if we don't feel as if we are worthy. And if we talk about, I've been trying to, I try to stay, keep it light, because when I say I love quantum physics, I love quantum physics. I was studying quantum physics in high school because I've always been amazed at just the power of the unseen. But, oh, mine is probably finally warm. I burnt the mess up myself.
It's good though. It's chamomile and lavender.
Yeah, that's it, girl.
Girl, this
Chamomile
is
and lavender.
good.
Set the little mental environment. But if you do not, if you don't feel as if the actions that you've done in your life make you feel as if you are not a good person, how could you ever be a good person?
So we're gonna open it up for you all to ask any questions, or if you wanna, submit your homework assignment by introducing yourself and bragging about yourself, feel free to do that as well. But this is y'all time now, and we're gonna answer some questions. It's popping.
Make some more.
I'm really messing with it.
Y'all try this too if you can. I think I use a tablespoon of German chamomile, and I think it was half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of lavender. With a little agave in there to bless it a little bit. Yes, Lord.
It's the lavender for me.
You give
I
it a
like the
whole
taste
little.
of the lavender. It's so good. It's good.
All right, so we ain't got no questions. Okay.
You silly.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fasting right now, and I heard you say the other day that if you drink a smoothie, you're still putting food in your body. Is that not good?
What kind of fasting are you doing?
Water fast.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
If it's a water fast and drinking smoothies, you just remember that even though it's in a liquid state, it's that same vegetable or that same fruit. Just blend it down really, really, really small, and so you're still eating technically.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I was also wondering, will the tea that you made, will that be available for us to buy?
Which one?
The general
The
wellness.
one that you sent in the packet, the one that you sent us?
Absolutely. I didn't want to make it available until we were done with this challenge. Whenever we create these challenges, we really want y'all to, those that we select to be a part of it, to feel special. And it ain't nothing special about y'all getting a sample of something that we made available. And so I'm not making it available until after we're done with this challenge, so that y'all can literally and technically have it first.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No problem.
Sherry, either you can, for one, if you have the Bladerac capsules, you can literally just open the capsule itself and put the powder in the tea, stir it around and drink it like that. But with the actual Bladerac, the seaweed, just like put it in a tea bag, and steep it in some hot water as you would any tea, and then drink it that way. Just sweeten it. Agave is our preferred sweetener, but you basically utilize Bladerac the same way you would making any tea. And I'm saying to just put it in a tea bag instead of just letting the Bladerac float around in your cup. But that's the best way to utilize it as a tea. Marielle, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Maria. How's you guys day going?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Also, how old are you?
11.
Go on ahead. Come on.
Hey, beautiful.
Soon I will be transitioning into plant-based, and I was curious if it would interfere with growing or developing properly that I am a child. Will I still grow properly, or will I have issues?
Let me tell you something, baby. Being plant-based is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. And speaking in regards to how you grow, you have to understand what's going on a cellular level. Your body, especially being that you were so young and you were still developing, needs a lot of minerals and vitamins and things like that for you to successfully grow and develop into a mature adult. Taking the things out of your body or taking the things out of your diet that's going to prevent those positive growths that we're looking for, especially when we're considering our health. You know, we're not talking about height, but we're talking about how our body matures. And so you are not going to be missing out on anything if you turn into a vegan diet. And as a matter of fact, I have a sister. We have a sister. She's been vegan all of her life. And her children have been vegan all of their lives, and they've never experienced sickness. She's never experienced her menses, and she was even, she was able to bear children and things of that nature. So you're not hurting yourself at all. The best or the most important thing for you to do is to make sure, no matter what diet that you're on, that you're mineralizing yourself to the best of your ability. Some people think that just because they're vegan, they're healthy, and that's not the case. There are a lot of vegans that actually develop cancer, and they develop cancer because they're not necessarily plant-based vegans. They eat a lot of vegan junk food, as we call them, soy and meats that are already produced and things of that nature. And so learning how to be a plant-based vegan and actually giving your body the calorie intake, the mineral and vitamin intake that you need is what's going to help you to continue to become healthy. And you making this decision so young lets me know where your mind and your heart already is. I love the fact that you love yourself. I want to encourage you to keep going because it's beautiful. Yeah. You are beautiful. Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. If you have any other, and you said you had a couple questions, yeah? I'm about to say she breaking up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Yes. What's your next one?
My other questions are: what are some tips you would give children transition to?
Have fun. And it's something that I wish I would have did. Does your mom cook a lot? Yeah. Do you help her cook?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Get in there with your mom as much as you possibly can. It is so easy as, when we're kids and we're children to be so consumed in our immediate world. But as an adult that is a big kid, what I will say, one of the things that I regret the most is not spending enough quality time with my mother, whom is my teacher through a lot. Our mothers teach us, even unconsciously in a sense. And so whenever you have the ability to get in there, experiment with the foods that you're trying to create, get in there and actually understand who you're being at that time. Whenever you are getting into the kitchen and you are cooking, that is a form, some people say it's a form of magic, but what I would say is a form of alchemy. All alchemy is a science of changing things into something that it was not before, creating something out of nothing. And that within itself is going to help us on a mental tip too, because you will then not be limited. We can make a whole meal out of beans and rice and mushrooms by converting those 3 little different things into a multitude of different things. We're actually practicing and experimenting with food, and that experiment is what gives us the solutions that we're able to provide to others. And so my best advice to you is to have fun and do everything with intention. Setting intention or creating a purpose for what you're doing is an important aspect into getting you to do it. So instead of looking like time in the kitchen as a chore or just boring time because my mom about to be bouncing, bossing me around, telling me what to do, look at that as your opportunity to actually enhance your knowledge and your experience with the things that you are going to grow to love and the things that's going to actually become a thing for you to enhance not only just your mentality, but your vitality, your health, just in case vitality wasn't the right way to put that. You got anything else?
Can I drink your wellness tea?
Yes, you can drink the wellness tea. There are some herbalists that would say there are certain things within a person's or a young person's body that is not developed enough yet. So there are certain herbs that you cannot have. However, there are things that come from the earth. And if there are things that come from the earth, they are for us because we are from the earth, right? Did you know that you are made of the same thing as the stars? You knew that?
Hey,
You're so smart.
that's what's up.
I got so excited. But we are literally made of the very elements and things that our world is made out of. And when we think about the beautifulness of God, and this is what I reflect on when it comes to my diet, whenever you're eating meat and things like that, there's such a process you got to go through just to get it. First of all, you got to find whatever animal you're about to consume. Then you got to catch it because everything is going to fight for its life. Then after you actually catch it, you got to slaughter it. And that's something within itself if you got the stomach for it. And then after you slaughter it, you got to cook it. But the benefit of a vegan diet is that everything that we consume, God has made for us. It comes ready for us. We don't have to do anything for apples and grapes and things like that. They come like that. These are things that are prepared for us. And that's what we consume. So although there are certain herbs that you should steer away from because your body may not be able to handle it, digest it, or whatever the case may be, the bulk of everything, especially in regards to some general herbs and or vegan food, the fruits, the veggies and things like that, that was God's blessing to us. That was made for you, boo. Anything else? Mm-mm.
So I was to the doctor, and then they said I had allergies or an infection in my throat. I had terrible body pains that I never experienced and a bunch of mucus in my throat. It was scary. Me and my cousin take sea moss every morning and he hates it.
Okay, you started breaking up, so I couldn't hear what you said at first. What'd you say at first?
I said I was sick for about 2 months and I was back and forth to the doctor. They didn't know what was wrong with me. First they said I had a sinus infection. Then they said I have allergies or an infection in my throat.
Okay.
Buildup of mucus.
Yeah.
Going on.
And that's all that it is. Some herbs that you can utilize in order for you to help with some of those things are like echinacea. Echinacea is really good, especially on at the on-site. And by on-site, I mean when you first start to notice that you were sick, echinacea is really good to use. Elderflower and elderberry are really good to use as well. The only thing that you and your family have to be mindful of, especially when giving herbs for different ailments, especially sinuses and things like that, is that because you are a child, there's a certain dosage that you need. So you should not be consuming the same amount that another adult is, but you can consume some of the same things that adults consume in order to help with that excess mucus and that the sinus issues. And sea moss can be tough. I'm gonna be honest. I've been consuming sea moss for a while. I got to the point to where, sometimes I don't put it in my smoothie. I take about a spoonful and I literally I put it in my mouth and I don't swallow it. I put it in my mouth and then I follow that with water and I swallow it with the water. Because if I just swallow that sea moss by itself, I don't know what's going to come up, but something is going to come up. Like I can't do it. And so coming up with different tricks and ways for you to consume sea moss in a way that you like could be really cool, a cool thing for you to do too. Did you know that there are sea moss popsicles? No? Take some strawberries, some fresh strawberries, a little bit of water and some sea moss, blend that together and tell mommy to get some little wooden sticks and put the stick on like a little shaper in a sense. You put the mixture in there with the stick in there, and you got a sea moss popsicle. And that's one of the ways that I know kids really like to consume sea moss. I mean, I said kids, but I like to consume sea moss that way.
You silly.
Is there anything else that comes to mind? And I see your background. I want to encourage you. I don't know if this is something that's up your alley or anything like that. But anybody that goes to the extent to have a background, to me, I see journaling, I see broadcasting, I see an interest in media, and maybe in having your own platform to where you can get on there and talk to other people. I want you to take everything that we said here literally and know that you can do anything you put your mind to. And if
Yep.
you are bold and brave enough and courageous enough to start right now, there is no reason as to why you can't experience any level of success that you want to later on within your life. Keep going.
That part.
Thank
You're welcome, beautiful.
Hey. I
Oh,
got,
sorry, I have one more question.
go ahead.
Can children detox?
Yes. And it's
Thank
important. No problem. Detoxing for you could be important. It could actually help you with some of your sinuses and actually being sick. One of the first things that naturally go away when you are sick is your appetite. So the body, that's the body trying to tell you, I need to focus on myself and not what you're putting into it. So fasting could actually be very beneficial for you. Do not do more.
Detoxing.
Yeah, detoxing can be very beneficial for you. If your detoxing is in the method of a fast for a child, do not fast more than 3 to 4 days. No more than 3 to 4 days. In regards to a detox, remember that some of these herbs may not be suit for you. So be careful of the kind of herbs that you're trying to use to detox, even if it doesn't sound threatening, like dandelion root. Dandelion root is typically really good, but in regards to certain ages and certain developments of our body, our liver may not be able to handle some of the phytochemicals and things of that nature, or some of the elements and particles of dandelion. And so you have to understand how to utilize these herbs and things of that nature, how to utilize these herbs to help you fast, how to utilize these fasts to help you enhance your I keep wanting to say vitality, your health. I'm proud of you. Girl,
No.
go
so
ahead.
much.
No problem at all, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you.
I answered everybody else's question in the actual chat. Did anybody else have any questions before we have to get off for today?
I had a question. I had about when you were talking about Esty, how we can order our own herbs.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any particular vendors that you recommend? Because I did go out there last night and it was just so many.
So yes, if you're talking about online,
Uh-huh.
iHerb is one of my favorite. Indigo Herb is another one of my favorites. And like I said, it's not necessarily even just about the vendor, but you knowing what these herbs are supposed to look like. We have to know, and that's what's going to really help, because there's a lot of good stuff out here. Typically, you can search for something and that exact thing is going to come up. But it's just a matter of you knowing what you're purchasing. If we don't know what lavender is supposed to look like, and somebody sends us a bag of leaves, that's when the vendor becomes a problem. So as long as you know, just research what it is that you're searching for, it's supposed to look like. And within the display of, how when they're displaying the product, if it looks the same, go for it. If it don't, stay away. And that's honestly as simple as it is. But that's how I got messed over once. Not knowing, I knew I wanted this herb, but I didn't know how this herb looked to be able to say I got the right thing or the wrong thing.
And they're on Esty, or is that just a website by itself?
No,
iHerb.
No, iHerb is a completely different site. Yeah.
Okay. And today I did get a tincture.
Hey.
I went to in my city, it's called Elwood Thompson. And I was just kind of like looking at stuff. And I actually saw in a section where they were already in a liquid form.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was actually able to get the ones that you had told me about. So I'm excited to try to help my husband with insomnia.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, remember that it's experimental. So if he needs to up that dosage, unless you see that something is wrong, because some of our, a lot of companies do what we do, especially when it comes to putting your products out there commercially. We're underselling it and we are under advertising it just to make sure that, in the hands of the wrong consumer, that we're still safe in a sense, because nobody wants to get sued. So, just be mindful of how he feels and what he's going through whenever he consumes anything, and y'all should be good. I'm glad you went out and got that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I'm going to introduce myself.
Go ahead.
Y'all, I'm stepping out the box for real.
Oh,
Go ahead.
So my name is Kim, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia. And the type of work that I did, I came from I worked at a jail. I worked in a facility with inmates. After that, I came home and to be a caregiver, to be a person to give someone life, give them life more abundantly. And I have to say that it didn't just start with my grandmother, who I would have to say, God bless her soul, she's 104 years old, but it started earlier. I love to take care of people. I love to help people. I truly believe that it is a gift that God has given me. Through all of this, it has been, it was hard, but it isn't anymore because I believe it's truly a blessing from God. It has even made me come, it has even, God has even dropped into me a company called Care to Help.
Hey.
And I just have to step out and I have to do what else because I don't want anybody to take that. But I'm just going to say that I'm very proud of myself because of the fact that I am starting to do things that make me happy. Not so much to think about the next person, what makes them happy, because for a long time in my life, that's what I did. I tried to make everybody else happy. And now I am actually, with the help of you guys, I am actually able to say, hey, I want my hair red, it's going to be red. If I want my hair purple, I'm okay with it. If you're not okay with it, okay.
Cool.
But what I have learned, Ed, is it's not about the out appearance. It's about what's on the inside. Because like you said, so many people claim, this spirituality. And it has really, because I'm not really able to go to church now because I do take care of my grandmother. But what I have done, I have sit back and I have watched people to be in a box. And the church is not just four corners of wall. It's on the outside. It's what's on the inside.
Yes.
So what I have done, how when we were younger in the South, you had to go to church every Sunday. You had to go to Sunday school. And I went because my parents told me I had to go. But now that I am older, I am truly learning the love of God.
Yeah.
What it means to love. You can tell me all day, but your actions don't show it. You don't love me. So I would have to say, being a caregiver, giving somebody life has, on this journey, it has really showed me what love is about. Who is in your circle. I have learned, I have looked to see who is really in my circle, and I can promise you guys, I probably can count possibly 5. So I just want to thank you ladies for helping me to be able to actually come to learn who I am, because through this journey, I want to love me. I want to take care of me. It's not so much about what everybody else thinks, but about me. And I just tell everybody on here, make sure you put yourself first. Self-care is so important. This right here, the mind, is so important. Make sure that you do not allow anybody else to tear down what God has built.
Yes, even yourself. And thank you so much for saying that, because you said something so golden. Often we show love to others in ways that we could never show to ourselves. And that's because I call it that inner self critic. You got her always going off, girl, you saw the way you did that?
Yeah.
Say it like that. You didn't do it when you said you was going to do. You know what that means? You's a failure. This is how our mind thinks. And so even extending that to even ourselves, even within, I'm going to love, the love that I give to others comes from within me. And it comes from within me because I created it and I give that love to myself. We are all developing and practicing the kind of love that we have on ourselves. You cannot experience the kind of love that you want without first possessing it within yourself. Because everything in this world, like I said, quantum, it's a mirror. So as much as when we first got together, and I won't make it long because I know we're supposed to get off of here. When we first got together, there would be some things that she would do that I was like, why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? And I'm sitting over here like, you're not patient enough with me. You don't have any patience with me. But Ashley, do you have patience with her? If you implemented patience with her, would she then have patience with you? From the background that I came from, crying wasn't a good thing. In my home, my mom taught me to be strong to a flaw. And so if my stepfather said something to me that hurt me, she would tell me, baby, don't let him see you cry. Don't let him think he won. Go take care of yourself and come back. And so all my life I grew up doing that. I'm not letting anyone see me in that light. So in my relationship, when I'm supposed to be submissive, I'm supposed to be vulnerable, I'm having an issue with being vulnerable, and that's creating the harshness within her. How can I expect her to come and embrace me with love if I'm not expressing myself in that manner? So
Amen.
you,
Yes.
that it's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate you for that message. Is there anything or anyone else that has anything? Nope. Going once, twice, thrice? Cool.
Yes.
Oh, that's what she hopped on for? Okay.
Yeah, I thought somebody else was going. Somebody's picture is up there. Okay.
That's our moderator. That's Chris.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
Uh-oh.
okay. I can't speak while they're speaking. I just came on here to say it's beautiful and we're having an awesome time. And I just wanted to give one more person, I believe it was Dana. She wanted to do the homework, and we're going to give Dana the floor. And I believe if it's Miss Alicia, then after that, we're going to wrap it up so we all can give back to the beautiful lives that we have. And then we'll come back on here tomorrow. So just make sure we all just keeping time. So you're welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Dana. I'm super excited to be a part of this challenge. I've learned so much already. I'm a divorced single mother of 2 teenage daughters. And it's a lot. Both of my daughters have sickle cell disease, and that's mainly the reason why I want to do this, because I want to show them. They're not very excited because I've discussed the possibility of going vegan and plant-based before with them, just because I know that's the best way to give them and myself the best, healthiest life possible. And I came into this challenge thinking that I was just gonna, learn how to use sea moss and make some recipes and whatnot. But especially today, I'm like blown away. Like everything that was talked about today has met me exactly where I am. It's crazy. And I'm so appreciative, and I'm definitely looking forward to learning and passing it on to my daughters. And it's hard being a caregiver and a mom and working and then also taking care of myself. So I just want to do that for myself and do that for my kids. Besides being a mom, I also work for the Air Force. I'm not in the Air Force, but employed by the Air Force working in oral surgery. So I'm in healthcare. So I want to also take better care of myself, just because, I'm always putting myself in harm's way, just being in healthcare, period. So, and especially in this climate that we're living in, I'm sure a lot of people are more aware and want to take better care of themselves. And I'm tired of talking about it and not doing it. And so I'm ready to do it. And I'm excited to reap the benefits as well. So thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate you guys.
You are very welcome. Yes, you are so welcome. And know that you can do anything. And I say this to every single one of you. If you are experiencing a reality that you don't like, understand that experience of that reality that you don't like is so important towards your growth, because you can't know what you want unless you experience what you don't want. So understanding that, just know that this is your starting point. And it's such a beautiful thing to be getting started, because this is our launch. This is where we take off. You understanding that you're tired and this ain't something that you want to continue to do. And those babies gonna follow suit. They may give a little resistance, but know that you are the leader of that household. And if you know what's best for you and your family, that's what you implement, regardless of whoever got to say about it, because that is you, like those children, the environment that you create within your home, the way that you bring them up and your influence on them, that's your legacy. So make sure that you do everything that you can to ensure that that legacy is a great thing. And take your children through the same process that you're going through, because honestly, I really wish that my mom would have did one and the same. My mom is a very gentle person. So it's kind of like, baby, wherever you are, I love you. And that's cool. But, and that's a great mentality to have, but we also, children are children for a reason. We are kids that need to go through certain experiences to gain these, you know, just these abilities. And what we are subconsciously teaching our children, whenever we know that, you know, we know better, but we are not doing better, is that inconsistency and lack is okay. And we don't want to communicate that to them. We don't want them to know that, yeah, I know that the benefit of it is better, but because I like the taste of this, it's okay for me to stay away from what's right. We don't want to do that to them. And so as much as they may hate that process, take them through it and don't feel bad about taking it through it, because they're going to appreciate you later. There are some things, like I just told the little one on here, my mom tried to get me to get in there and cook with her. And being that I live in California now, you have no idea how much I wish I would have just been more involved. I wish that I could have did more. But some of the lessons that she was trying to teach me, that I fought, and her being gentle is what actually created some of the problems that I have mentally. A lot of our problems with consistency started off as a child. Your mother told you to clean your room and you didn't, and there were no consequences towards that. Your mother, it was your week to wash dishes and you didn't. And because of that within the mind, they grow up thinking, if I don't do the things that I committed myself to, or I am obligated to, it is okay. That mentality creates or not even the consistency, but the lack of consistency, the lack of discipline. You are shaping an entire human being. They may not like the processes that you take them through, but understand that you are their mother, you're their guide, you're their guidance, so that you go for it. And them babies gonna follow suit. And it's a lot of stuff that to this day, I call my mom and I say, Mama, thank you. As a 22-year-old person that was living in my parents' house, I had a curfew, a midnight curfew. And I was like, I'm grown. Why I gotta have a curfew? Why do I have to do that? It wasn't until I realized it ain't nothing good going on at midnight. It ain't nothing good going on after midnight, that I called and I told my mama, I appreciate you for doing that. You subconsciously put so much in me that I didn't realize at that time. And I had to grow in order to understand that these things are valuable. They make me who I am. So don't you be scared, you do it. And you do it with the confidence and knowing that you about to get it done, because you are their caretaker. You changing their lives. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You're very.
Thank you for that encouragement. I really needed that. Thank you so much.
I'm proud of you. Yes, yes. We had one more, yeah? Who was it?
Me.
Come on in.
Yes, how long does your general wellness tea last? And the last one is, can bladderwrack capsules be taken with or without food?
Whenever you're taking capsules, you have to understand, it's the same thing with medicine. You want to make sure that the capsules actually get to the right aspect of your body to be broken down to where your body can actually receive the nutrients. We advise for you guys to take these capsules with food, because we're trying to make sure that it actually hits the right part of the stomach to digest, so that you guys can actually receive the benefit of it. So take it with food. And then in regards to the tea, no tea that you make is going to last more than like 72 hours, especially if it's herbal. So what you want to do, 72 hours to 4 days. 4 days is a max. It really depends on the herbs that you use. But after that 4 day, whether you drink all of it or not, throw it away. Anything else?
Okay, thank you.
No, that's not a problem at all.
Alicia be in the chat dropping gems. If y'all be seeing
Yes.
Alicia putting her info in the chat, she be on it. There go the moderator.
All right.
Okay, if there is nothing else, everyone, we will see you all back here tomorrow. Okay, have a great, beautiful rest of the evening, and we will do the same. And love and light. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Have a nice day.
Good night, loves.
Good night.
We got
Good
the
night. Love y'all.
Love you too. Bye-bye.